Ayan. So for plate number 3, so that will cover the all schedule, yung column, beam, slab, and so on. All the miscellaneous details, including the roof detail. So tapusin na natin ang plate number 3. Lahat ng hindi pa naisasama sa mga plate. Okay? So this is good for a month. So mahaba-haba preparation nyo nito. Okay? So baka may mag-request pa sa inyo ng extension, isang buwan yan. Ayan. So that would be the last plate na hihingin ko sa inyo. Then yung mga succeeding quizzes na lang tsaka exams. Okay? Since magme-midterm naman tayo doon sa November 15. So, yun, quizzes na lang tsaka final exam. Okay? Tapos natin. Balikan ko lang to announcement yan. Tama. Midterm exam coverage, all topics discussed for midterm. So that would cover hanggang module 4. Okay? So yung hanggang i-discuss ko ngayon. Yung i-discuss ko next week, hindi na siya kasali. Ito ko lang. So ito, hanggang dito lang. Yung structural steel, sa finals na siya. Sa finals part na siya. Okay? Ayan. Sige. Let's proceed na. Ayan, ito pala yung software kanina. Okay. So, let me just go with the lesson. Okay. So, unahin natin to. Ito din naman yung lecture natin last time. Dinagdag ko lang to in terms of the marking ng plan. Okay. So, yung pagmamark ng plan, so depende kung paano minamark nung designer or nung company na gumagawa ng design, yung mga plans nila, kung ano yung preferably nila. So, it can be done through a grid system. Okay, meaning you are using ang reference mo yung grid. For example, grid A from grid 1 to grid 2. Example nun, ano ba yung PDF? Wala. So, open tayo na sample. So, from grid, yan natin kung okay ito. Hindi ko ito. For example, this one. Ayan. Kunwari, from grid A, beam, grid 2 to 3. O, yun yung pine-pertain na beam. Okay? So, gumagamit ng grid as reference. Tapos, for each identifier, so meron siyang specific reinforcement details and so on. Okay, so hindi siya typical. Ito kasi typical to, itong nakikita nyo, yung normal na ginagawa sa mga residential. Pero sa mga malalaking project na gusto din makatipid, so iniisa-isa talaga yan. Okay. Now, it can be grid system or sequential. Ito naman, similar with the grid pero in sequence siya. C1, C2. Depende kung paano pagkaka-sequence. And then lastly, yung piece mark. Ito yung kapag many members of the structure are similar, so gumagamit tayo ng identifier similar doon sa dito. Kunwari, lahat siya B1, lahat siya TB1. Ayan. So, isang marker, maraming beam siya ina-apply. Okay? Ayan. So, yun lang naman yung gusto kong idagdag with regards to the referencing ng schedule. Kasi with this, yung next plate kasi natin will pertain to the schedule. So, by just merely checking with the plan and then checking with the ID or identifier, so you would be able to determine that through the beam schedule kung ano yung cross-section niya at ano yung information within that. Okay? So, yun lang naman yung idadagdag ko dito sa ano na to, sa PowerPoint na to. And then, the next is detail of reinforcement. So, discuss natin yung bond development length hook. hooks and splicing reinforcement. Okay, so basahin ko muna. The bar stresses must be transferred to the concrete by bond between the steel and the concrete before the bar can be cut off. So, ang gustong sabihin ng statement na yun is that yung stresses within the beam or na supposedly mag-a-act doon sa bar, kunwari dito, dyan, okay, should be transferred between the steel tsaka sa concrete bago mo siya putulin. If you're going to compare with these two drawing, yung una, maiksi yung bakal or meaning walang development length. Ang tawag dito is development length. That is the distance. Okay? So it is the distance back into the support and out into the beam to anchor them or develop their strength. So kapag hindi siya naka-extend, so wala siyang development length, meaning kahit gaano katibay ito, kung hindi maayos yung pagkakakabit niya, may possibility na the failure would occur doon kung saan siya nakakonect dito. So hindi ma-maximize nung material natin yung capacity niya kasi nga mahina doon sa connection. So we need to apply development length para hindi siya matanggal. In short, okay, unlike with this one, so meron tayong development length na mahaba. So yan, more likely na mawi-withstand niya yung possible connection failure dito, and at the same time mama-maximize yung strength ng material being applied ng force. Okay? So if improper yung pagkakakabit natin ng development length or hindi tayo sumusunod sa standard or maiksi or totally wala, so possible tayo magkaroon ng failure such as this. Pwede siya mag-slip, okay? Mahila, pwedeng mabiyak yung concrete member, pwedeng column, kung sa column siya nakakabit, pwedeng mabiyak sa gitna, or pwedeng pag nahila, pag ganito, pa letter B yung ating failure. So parang ganito siya. Pag hinila mo yan, parang pa letter B yung mapo-form mo. Okay? Ayan. Now, whenever we apply yung development length, yung mga hooks, splicing, ganyan. So, isa-isahin muna natin. Pakita ko sa inyo anong itsura kapag ganito yung bend and anong itsura kapag ganun yung bend. An example of that is kapag 90 degrees hook, naka 90 degrees siya. From the main bar to pinag-uusapan natin. So, i-hook natin siya na 90. Okay? This is kapag etong length of the development length na to is enough or yung concrete na pupuntahan niya or meaning yung concrete kung saan papunta to is kasya pa siya. Pag hindi siya kasya, kailangan mong i-180. An example of this yung mga footing. Okay, for example, kung footing, ganyan, tapos meron kang bakal, di ba? Meron kang mga bakal dyan. Tapos, kapag nag-development length ka, hindi naman pwedeng putol, kailangan mo mag-development length. Pag hinabaan mo siya, lalabas. So, para hindi lumabas yan, kailangan naka-bend ka pa ganun. So, it's just an example on where we apply yung ganito. Pero ito, marami naman to sa mga beams kasi mahaba naman yung column pababa. And so on. Okay, so let's define first ano yung anchorage. So, the wave forces in the reinforcing bar are safely transferred to surrounding concrete. Okay, so that the bars can fully develop, meaning allowing the rebar to reach its yield strength. Their strength without slipping or pulling out. So, ibig sabihin nito is that ang tawag doon sa pagkakakabit ng bakal, let's say nung beam, yung main bar ng beam papunta sa column, is anchorage, kung saan dapat it is properly anchored para matransfer nung beam yung load papunta sa column and at the same time ma-maximize niya yung strength niya by reaching its yield strength. Okay? Ayan. So whenever we discuss development length, okay, so meron tayong mga minimum length or extension of reinforcement for its peak stress. So minimum pwedeng mahaba pero syempre di mo sobrang hahabaan kasi ano siya, may kinalaman siya sa cost, syempre. So, meron merong formula with that. Now, you need to compare those for tension. You need to compare those values dito. The value that we computed using the formulas sa NSCP ng development length should not be less than or should not be less than 300 mm. Pag less than ang lumabas, so kailangan mong gamitin yung minimum na 300 mm. Okay, pero ano yan, hindi ko na i-discuss sa inyo yung formula kasi medyo marami yun at mahaba. I don't think naman na relevant siya pa sa subject natin kasi pang RCD yun eh. So ano lang, more on basic ano lang, information about that tayo. Okay. For the notation, yung D, this is the extreme compression fiber to centroid of tension reinforcement. Well, ano lang to, this notation is taken from NSCP. Then, DB, this is the normal diameter or the nominal diameter ng bar, wire, or the pre-stressing strand. FCI is the compressive strength of concrete at the time of initial pre-stress, kung pre-stress tayo. FY is the yield strength of the non-pre-stress reinforcement. And then lastly, LD is the development length. So, yan yung mga mababasa nyo later na mga notation. Okay. So, for standard hooks and bends, so pakita ko lang din, if we have 90 degree, okay, eto siya, magsisimula yung development length niya, whether that's 12 dB, 6 dB, 8 dB, and so on, from after nung curve, pag 90. Kapag ka nakabend ng ganito, magsisimula siya after nung curve 10. Okay? Example ito, 4 dB. And then, meron din tayong 135, ganito. Normally, itong 135, makikita natin to sa stirrups. Yung ibang mga engineer, lalo yung mga luma, pag nagpagawa sila, ito yung bakal, naka 90 lang. Okay? Naka 90 yung ano nila, yung stirrups. Tapos, pupuluputan na lang dito ng alambre. Kasi minsan matagas talaga yung bakal, hindi mo na kayang i-bend. Now, yun lang, ang sabi ng iba daw, kapag nagka-earthquake or may possibility, kung hindi maayos yung pagkakakabit nito, pwede pumitik yan, bubukayan ng nakaganon. Okay, so isipin nyo matatanggal to, bubukayan ng nakaganyan. So, pwede magka-failure, masira yung structural member. Now, suggestion ng iba, or the recommended suggestion here is that to avoid this, 135 na lang siyang nakaganon. Okay, kumbaga parang nakaganon yung ano natin, yung stirrups. So makikita niyo yan dun sa mga plans nyo. Nakaganito. Okay? So doon natin na-apply yung 135 na ganito. Okay? So yun, ganun din naman after the curve tsaka magsisimula yung development. Like, yung bends natin dyan. Okay, so for the main bar, so based on the code, so if it's 180 degree bend, so meron tayong plus 4 dB. dB is the diameter of the bar. Okay? Ayan siya. Okay, but not less than 60 mm at free end of the bar. So sa free end. Ayan dito. Then 90 degree bend naman, so that's 12 dB for the main bar. Okay? So for the minimum bend, so ito, puntahan natin to. So for the minimum bend, ito yung clauses niya sa NSCP, measured inside of the bar other than for stirrups and ties in sizes 16 mm shall not be less than the values sa 407-1. Ito naman, if ties shall not be less than 4 dB for 16 mm and smaller, bars larger than 16 mm diameter of bend shall be in accordance, again sa same table, and so on. So para maintindihan natin to, so ito yung table niya, yung 407-1. So kapag ito yung sizes natin, 10 to 25, that's 6 dB for the minimum diameter, depende sa bend. Kapag 28 to 32, 28, 32, and 36, that's 8 dB. Class ano yan ha? Walang 29, 30, 31. Okay, so that's yan yung market size. And then 42 and 58, so that's 10 dB. So ito din yan. Ito. Example, okay? Now, with regards naman sa standard hooks, stirrups, ties, or hoops pang ano to pang circular column. Okay, so 16 mm bar or smaller na 90 degrees, 6 dB. Ito, yung haba nito. Kapag naka 90, pa 16 mm or smaller, so that is 6 dB. Okay? Then, kapag 20 hanggang 25, that is 12 dB. Ito. O, mapapansin nyo, walang sumunod sa 25, which is 28. Kasi hindi naman ginagamit yan sa stirrups. Masyado ng malaki. Pang main bar kasi yon, yung mga malalaking bakal. So, hindi siya pang stirrups. Then, yon, kapag pag 25 mm or lower naman, or para sa lahat ito, from 25 pababa, pag 135 yung bend, similar doon sa pinakita ko sa inyo ganito. Okay, so that is ang length natin dito will be 6 dB. Okay? Ayan, ito yung same lang din naman to doon sa kanina. 6 dB din for ties. Alright? Yun. So, let's go with the splices. Yan yung pang stirrups, yung hook, tas yung isa development length. Punta tayo sa splices. Sa splices, we normally do this kapag bitin yung bakal. Pero, hindi natin basta-basta lang ini-splice. Meron tayong mga strategic location. Pero before that, there are at least 3 types of reinforcement splices. Una, yung lap splice, katulad nito, mechanical splice, and welded splice. So, we will just discuss with the lap splice. So, per consideration, so the location of the lap splice should be away from the maximum stress or the maximum bending moment. Diba, kinukuha natin yung maximum moment doon sa isang beam, if you could remember sa theory of structures. So, make sure that the location of the lap will not fall under the location of the maximum moment. Kasi pag doon, hindi na siya question if the rebar can withstand the stress, pero more on yung connection, yung pagkaka-connect mo. Okay, so para maiwasan natin yun, huwag tayo maglalagay doon. Okay, kasi medyo delikado. Okay? Now, the stagger, make sure, or as much as possible, stagger the location of splices wherever is possible. Lap splices in tension, okay, are classified as Class A or Class B. So, pwede mong masabi yung klase ng splice mo if it's Class A or Class B. If yung 1 times LD mo or the computed development length is greater than or equal sa 300. So, Class B naman siya if 1.3 times LD is greater than equal sa 300. Okay? So, dyan mo siya pwedeng ma-categorize. For the recommended location of splices, yun nga, based dito sa maximum bending moment na to, dapat malayo. So, ito yung recommended. From the face of the supports, so it can be 1/4 ng entire length or 1/3 ng entire length. Kapag outer support, that's 1/4. Kapag inner support, that's 1/3. Okay? Now, doon naman sa ilalim, so that is should be less than or equal sa 0.125 span of the beam. So, ano-ano to? Yung mga bakal dyan. So, ito siya. So, ayan, we have the standard hook, ayan, and then we have the temperature and shrinkage reinforcement, and then we also have the main bars, ito. So, okay. So, for the bending of reinforcement naman, tuwing kailan natin siya binebend or sa actual, pag binebend natin siya, okay? So, pagka binend natin siya, binebend natin ng malamig, meaning, kukunin mo lang siya sa laydown area, ibebend mo na. Unless otherwise permitted by engineer of record. Meaning, kung gusto niyang initan and so on, so nasa sa kanya yon, i-approve na, unless permitted niya. Pero normally naman, binebend lang siya ng actual. So, hindi siya binebend using other mechanical things. Talagang binebend lang siya ng bar bender. Okay? Then, if the reinforcement is already installed, hindi natin siya binebend. On site. Okay, going back. So, yun. If the rebar is installed na with the concrete, so hindi natin siya basta-basta pwedeng i-bend. Unless i-allow ka ng engineer of record. Pero, hindi talaga siya binibend kasi pwedeng masira yung yung pagkakakabit ng bakal doon sa concrete. Depende kung gaano katigas yung bakal at kung paano i-bend yung bakal. So, baka ma-compromise yung structure. Kasi hindi naman naka-design yung bakal to be bend, to be bended habang naka-install na siya. Okay? Ayan. So, concrete cover. So, pag-usapan naman natin yung concrete cover. Ito, makikita nyo to doon sa mga general notes, doon sa drawing nyo. Ngayon, ano bang yung concrete cover? Yung concrete cover, that is the distance of the extreme end of the bar, which is this one, tong side na to, doon sa extreme end of the structural member or the concrete member, this one. So, ayan. Ito yun, yung concrete cover. So, for the concrete cover, we have at least 3 categories. Una, cast against and permanently in ground or in contact with ground. In contact with ground. So, ito yung mga concrete, yung mga structural member na nakalubog na sa lupa. Okay? So, 75 mm yan. Okay? So, yun yung niya. Kunwari footing, mga ganun, part ng column na nakalubog, and so on. Ito naman, exposed to weather, meaning pwedeng maulanan, maarawan, or in contact with ground. In contact meaning nakadikit, hindi siya permanently nakalubog. Or hindi siya lahat nakalubog. So, depende sa size ng bakal, meron siyang specific concrete cover. Ganun din dito, not exposed to weather or in contact with ground like yung mga internal inner column, inner beams, slab. So, nasa loob ng structure yan. So, depende sa size ng bakal, at sa type ng member, so meron tayong specified bar size. Okay? Ayan. So, ito is for non-pre-stress. Or cast in place non-pre-stress. Meaning, yung simpleng deform bars natin na nabibili sa hardware, then gagawa ka ng beam, kunwari bahay. So, cast in place yun and then hindi naman siya pre-stress. So, we use this cover. Now, if we're going to cast in place pero pre-stress, meaning we're not using rebars, we're using tendons. Tendons are like this one, para siyang malaking kabilya na hihilahin mo both ends, tapos bubuhusan yung concrete, cast in place nga, so bubuhusan mo siya on site. Pag matigas na, bibitawan mo na yung pagkakahila doon sa tendons, tapos magka-camber siya para magiging ganito. Okay? So, hihilahin, tapos bubuhusan, pag tumigas, bibitawan. So, magka-camber siya para siya mag-curve upward. The reason why we apply the reason why we apply pre-stress is that para ma-minimize natin yung deflection. Okay? Kasi kapag normal na non-pre-stress, ano lang siya, rectangular siya. Tapos, pagka nag-deflect siya, magde-deflect lang talaga siya, diretso na. Ganyan. Okay? Pero kapag nag-pre-stress ka, rectangular, tapos pag binitawan mo yung tendons, nakaumbok siya pataas. Well, hindi naman significant yung pagkakaumbok niya, pero more uumbok siya ng konti. Calculated naman 'yan. Para pag nag-apply ka na ng load dito, so magpa-flat muna siya bago magsimula mag-deflect, tama? Kesa ganito, so deflect kagad siya. So yun yung explanation that why we apply pre-stress. Okay, so for cast in place pre-stress, so depende again sa same condition ng concrete exposure, depende sa member of the structure, and depende sa size ng reinforcement or type ng reinforcement. So this is the concrete cover. Okay? Pero normally dito lang tayo kasi kung yung mga gumagamit nito, mga malalakihang construction or malalakihang projects. Kasi pang mga bahay, syempre, ganito lang yan. Ito lang din yung normal na ginagamit. Now, meron naman tayong precast. Kung yung isa, cast in place, pre-stressed. Ito naman, precast, non-pre-stressed, or pre-stressed. So basically, if we are dealing with yung mga yung mga pinirepair off-site, hindi binuhusan on-site katulad ng mga kinakabit sa mga skyway, mga walls na ikinakabit sa mga condominiums. So those are precast, can be non-pre-stressed or can be pre-stressed. Again, ang difference ng non-pre-stressed sa pre-stressed is isa tendons ang ginagamit ng pre-stressed. Non-pre-stressed is deform bars, yung rebar na normal na nakikita nyo sa hardware. So yun, kapag precast naman, so eto naman yung criteria niya. Depende sa type ng member, depende sa exposure, at depende sa size ng reinforcement. So eto yung mga ano niya, yung concrete covers niya. Okay? So yun, then again, this is how the pre-stress works. Ano ba? Ayan. So for the surface of reinforcement, yung condition dapat ng surface. So simplihan ko lang itong yung 1 and 3. Ito for tendons, ito for rebars. So it should be free from mud, oil, or other non-metallic coatings kasi it will decreases sa band niya doon sa ating concrete. Okay? When permitted, we can apply coatings naman, well, in accordance pa din sa NSCP. Okay? Then, ito naman, for the reinforcement naman, except pre-stressing tendons, okay, yung mga may kalawang, mill scale, or a combination of both shall be considered satisfactory as long as it can provide the minimum dimension and pasado pa din sa ASTM. Okay, yung mga may kalawang. Tapos as long as na hindi naman din hindi naman din significant yung effect. Okay?
Sir, excuse me po, nakamute po yata sila. Thank you po.
Ay, sorry, nakamute nga. Tama. Nako, ang haba na sinabi ko. Teka lang. Nasabi ko ba to? Hindi. Saan ako nakaputol? Baka anyone can dito, na-discuss ko ba to yung concrete cover? Can anyone? Kung may nakikinig, ulitin para alam ko kung saan ako uulit.
Sir, dun lang po sa last slide po.
Dito sa placing. Tama?
Opo, sir.
Baka napindot ko. Sige. Alright. So going back with the placing of concrete. So ito naman, whenever we placed concrete, reinforcement sa formworks and then bago buhusan ng concrete. Okay, it should be accurately placed. So kung paano yung spacing, kung paano yung concrete cover dapat na address natin and accurately placed. Ito yung ibig natin sabihin dito. Unless otherwise specified ng engineer of record if meron tayong tolerances with this one. Now, for the tolerances, so there's a tolerance depth for the minimum cover in flexural members, walls, and compression members. I'll just check this if this is greater than. Okay, i-double check ko to, i-update ko to. Pero what is this table is referring to is that there are tolerances from 10 mm to 12 mm. As long as, again, provided na approved tayo ng engineer of record. Okay? So, yun lang naman. Yun lang yung pinakahuling part. So, again, this topic is just a supplement part nung na-discuss last week, which is part of the steel reinforcements. Okay, so the topic will be followed by the structural steel next meeting. So that is November 8. So wala tayong pasok sa Sabado next week kasi holiday. Okay? Teka, with that, let me just stop the recording. Ayan, para hindi na masyadong humaba yung yung